Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Everyday Carry for the Everyday Guy. It feels like an age since I've done a review, but I think this one's going to be worth it. The Olight i5T EOS. Is it the best non-rechargeable EDC flashlight out there? Before we get into any specifics, I want to get some torture testing out of the way. So first up, we're going to check out waterproofing. What I do differently with my waterproofing tests is I cycle the flashlight while it's underwater. A lot of people think this is common practice. Believe it or not, there are a lot of flashlight manufacturers that say you cannot cycle the flashlight while underwater, while submerged. You either have to have it on and then submerge it and then take it out of the water, and then you can cycle it, or you have it off, dunk it, take it out, and then cycle it. But you cannot cycle the flashlight whilst underwater. I don't subscribe to that notion. If it's an IPX8 rated flashlight, it's got to be able to be fully submerged and function. And as you can see, the Olight i5T does that without any problems. The next thing I want to move on to is the drop test. Now, in the past, my EDC flashlights, i.e. non-tactical flashlights, I've not been this harsh to. I don't usually drop test them as many times. So those of you who follow my channel know that for a tactical flashlight, I'm going to drop it from shoulder height at least 7 times. I thought I'd up it a notch and drop the i5T 10 times from shoulder height onto solid tarmac. Let's have a look at that. So that's 10 drops from shoulder height for this little guy. Now, realistically, guys, that's more than most people are going to drop or should be dropping this flashlight. If you do EDC flashlight, ask yourself how many times have you ever dropped that guy. This is what it looked like after the drops. And you know, the frame did take a bit of damage, but other than that, it's more superficial damage than mechanical. I can tell you that after the drop, the flashlight still functions. So let's get into what the Olight i5T actually is. If you're a fan of Olight, you'll remember this guy, hugely popular, the Olight M1T Raider. This is a max 500 lumen flashlight. And then you'll also remember probably this guy. This one is still in manufacture. This is the i3T EOS. The Olight i5T EOS is like the love child of these two. Its diameter is a bit greater than that of the i3T and a bit lesser than that of the i5T. Lengthwise, it's a bit longer than all three of them. It's got Olight's usual fancy S-clip that you can clip onto the peak of a cap, and the operation is exactly like those two previous ones. A single tap is for low mode of 15 lumens, and then if you put it off and within 2 seconds you put it back on, you're going to get high mode of 300 lumens. There you go. You will notice that when it goes to 300 lumens, it sort of doesn't just pop onto 300, it sort of illuminates and gets progressively brighter. That is so that it can spare the battery, and right there is the kicker. This guy runs on a single AA battery. That is quite a game changer. This battery does come with this Olight, and if you use this battery, you're going to get about 24 hours of non-stop usage out of it. So if you leave this light on 300 lumens, it's going to dim down all the way to 15 lumens, and it'll stay on from there for about 24 hours. So you're getting amazing life out of probably the world's most common battery. The i3T is a AAA battery. Super common, but not as common as the AA. And then the M1T Raider, which I believe is no longer in production. So if you have one of these, definitely don't get rid of it just yet, is a CR123. Now, in terms of output, lumen, candela, power, okay, For an everyday carry flashlight, you don't really need that much. And when I say this, I don't mean a flashlight used for defensive purposes. So candela and throw and hotspot, those guys are often tied into one, and you'll often find high numbers for that on tactical flashlights, right? When it comes to EDC flashlights, what you're more looking for is lumen and spill. Lumen is the amount of light output, and spill or flood is the area that it illuminates. Now, for a utilitarian everyday carry flashlight, 300 lumens and 15 lumens is more than sufficient. What I look for is color rendition. Okay, I work in a technical field where I need to know the difference between red and blue. A flashlight that is too bright washes out the color. I'm going to chuck in some B-roll of what this flashlight does on 15 lumens in pitch black conditions or close to pitch black conditions, and you'll see the colors pop out really nicely. This is very important for utilitarian purposes. If you are an electrician, if you work in the information technology, if you are a technical guy, if you're working underneath a car and you're trying to ascertain what is a blue wire versus what is a red wire, okay, having too much light is almost as bad as having too little. That 15 lumens beautifully illuminates and also gives a really solid color rendition. And that's what's really important for me. If you want to see what it's like on 300 lumens, this is me illuminating a house across the street. And across the street, that's a good 10, 15, 20 meters away. I don't know how big a street is. But from, like I said, from a utilitarian point of view, that is more than sufficient. The i5T, it's got all Olight's usual features. IPX8 rated, 1.5 meter drop resistance. They say it's got a 60 meter throw. I think that's pushing it a bit. Under ideal conditions, maybe, but yeah, I think they're pushing it a bit in that one. But again, this flashlight isn't meant for that kind of thing, in my opinion. This is for the EDCer, the guy who uses it in his home, the guy who uses it at close distance. It's not a tactical tool, it's not a self-defense tool. The only drawback of it is, if there is going to be one, is that it doesn't have a magnetic tail cap. Obviously, they can't have a magnetic tail cap on this because they've got that rubberized tail switch. I use the Olight Perrin quite a bit. That's been my EDC, and this magnetic tail cap situation for me is an absolute game changer. It's one of the biggest deals I like about Olight, is that magnetic tail cap. There are a lot of guys who don't like rechargeable flashlights because you could be somewhere where there's no electricity and then you have no flashlight. And there could be a place where there's no electricity, but there is a AA battery. And a AA battery, guys, you go to your TV's remote, you can get yourself a AA battery. Your Xbox One controller has 2 of them. You know, you pretty much never be without a flashlight. And I mean, they're dirt cheap in the stores. So you go buy a pack of 4, chuck them in your EDC backpack, and you've got like 96 hours worth of flashlight. It's hard to argue with that, guys. I have been carrying this sort of secretly. I didn't want to show people that I was carrying it on my social media, but I have been carrying it. It's a thin little guy. Its carryability is super easy. I mean, this is my normal EDC. Like, look at the difference in size, right? The Perrin versus the i5T. Enormous difference in size. So if I can EDC this guy, EDCing this guy is an absolute breeze. This will fit into the coin pocket of your Levi jeans or any other jeans. It'll fit right in there, so you're good to go. And it'll clip onto pretty much any pocket. Guys, the Olight i5T, massive thanks to the guys at Torch SA and Henry Beeman for always supporting the channel. You can find this on their website. I am hopefully going to be doing a few more Torch reviews. Oh, one other thing. They've got this new design, this blue design. How awesome is that? If you are law enforcement, right, you know, the thin blue line, I feel like they should hook you up with one of these just because. And I think it's because they don't have it on the bezel. They got it sort of around the frame of the light. Really cool. So they don't have the normal knurling. They've got this blue. I want to get a super close-up of it so you can see it really nicely. Very, very nice. Really nice flashlight, good weight in the hand. Good size, you know, it's just big enough so that you can hold it in a fist and activate it with your thumb. Really, really cool. The Olight i5T, guys, available from Torch SA. If you are looking for an inexpensive, really simple EDC flashlight that is ultra survivable, this flashlight survived tests that flashlights way more expensive might not survive. I know a lot of guys who are huge fans of the i3T. If you liked the i3T, you will love the i5T. It's going to bump up that lumens for, I mean, really very little size differential. I want to do my flashlight reviews more like this, more personal experience than what's on the box. By the way, guys, what you get in the box is just the flashlight and the battery. Guys, that's it. Short and simple, just like it says in the box. Super simple. If you have any questions, pop it down below. If you like this kind of thing, please don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you guys soon for another review. Have a good week. Cheers. God bless.